Tanner. This is your feedback video for your car here. You wanted feedback on this, which I think is looking pretty good. It gets a little tight in terms of breathing space between edges right in here that you could probably clean up a little bit, but it doesn't bother me. This is a little heavy for what's needed, I think. It looks like right now everything is kind of modeled as one piece, and that's fine. I like to go through and cut out the pieces that I know would be separate. Like the door would be separate, the front left quarter panel, the back or left quarter panel, and so forth. Like you have the hood here as separate. I would do all of that as separate. But you have a really good thing going here with the body. I think now you could come in here and spend quite a bit more time on the finer details. There is no door handle on this, and I'm not sure if there really is. I don't have here. I can do that. I can pull up the Knight Rider, even though I don't think that's what this was. Maybe it was. Let's see. Side shot. Come on, buddy. Yeah, there's on Knight Rider even. There's a door handle there. But let's see here. Looking at this and then looking at your model here, there's some detail, some trim that goes down the side of the car here. It gets cut where the door would join, right? There is a side view mirror right here, a gas tank with like a little thumb ridge, and looking even closer, it looks like there's a fine black trim on the top of this window, and a little ridge where the window goes into the door when it rolls down. Let me see here. You've got some detail there. I can't really see it too well, but there is something there, which is good. There are some little red lights back here on the back quarter panel. But really, I think this is looking pretty slick. Yeah, you've got some, there's some details you need to, there's a little fin or spoiler or whatever you want to call it on the back. And I don't think this ridge is quite as hard as you have it. Maybe it is. I don't see a photo of the back of it, which is not surprising because it was all about the front little flashy kit. The red eye of kit. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, that back window, it curves. It's a sharp curve, but it's not edge sharp, so I might round that off a little bit more and then just go in and add all those details. Door handle, little red thing, light blinker, whatever back here. There's some extra detail inside of this, getting that trim, getting it trimmed around the front, getting some windshield wipers in there, really smoothing things out and making sure that they meet correctly. I would spend a good chunk of time doing that. And then, other than that, it's looking really good. It's just the finer details that you have to go in and spend some time on. You've got yourself an excellent base here. If you were to give this to me, I could work some magic with it and have fun with it. As for the lighting in this scene right now is pretty basic. I see one light source right now, which is okay, but this right here, this pole, suggests that there's a light source up here as well. But it feels like a pure white light, and it feels like it's too far down on the horizon. Alright, and I'm gonna do something really quick and dirty inside of Maya that is just a starting point. There is nothing special about these shaders. This is a Lambert shader here. The body is a Fong shader. I could make it a blend if I want, but this came as a Fong, which doesn't bother me. Its reflectivity is up to 778.778. Alright. So nothing special in any of these textures. They're either Fongs or really, I think they're all Fong. Lamberts, Fong. This is something that I set up really quickly. If we go, I'll show you how to do what I've done right here. The render right now is not amazing, but I just want to show you a good starting point. You can build on this in any way you want. First off, I made a camera, made it HD, went to the indirect lighting tab. When I have mental ray enabled, that shows up. So I then created on this image-based lighting button. I click create. That takes me to a window over here where I am using a texture that I will put a link to in the description. It looks like this. Okay, it's just a night scene. It's just a night scene here. So I made that is a freely available and that's a freely available thing. It's just you have to share it on Google or Facebook or Twitter or somewhere, and they give you that for free, which is pretty cool. So going off of this, which that light corresponds to this little dot right here. I threw in another light though, a spotlight, and I gave it a yellowish tint and a yellow orange. The penumbra angle, I increased that to 20. I'm using ray traced shadows with a light radius of 5 and shadow rays of 10. And that is all I'm using right now. I'll probably change that in a few minutes. The global illumination I have here is just turned on, and final gathering is turned on. I left this all default, and this accuracy I went from 100 to 150. And that's all we need right now. But I think I want to add another light really quickly. I'm going to create a directional light, and that's light that wherever I point it, it will light anything in that direction. So let me zoom in here a little bit. That truck is huge. I'm going to point it down. So this is kind of like the moon is up here, you know, way out here looking this way down on this truck. I'm gonna give it a bit of a bluish hue, not a lot, but just a little, and then I'm going to reduce it to like 0.4. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to turn shadows on for that as well. And let's try a test render. So as you can see, it's not perfect yet, but this is starting to look a bit more like night. I might even come back to this spotlight and let's just see here. Make that a little bit more orangish, yellowish. Maybe. And then I'll come back to that directional light, which I was calling the moon. And let's see. That might be a little too much. Let's see what that looks like. So now if you look at this, it's okay. It's halfway there. But and then I would just continue. I might add another light without shadows off in the back a little bit, you know, to give this a little bit of a rim right there. You know, I'm gonna do something really quick. I'll speed ramp through this, but I'll be back with you in just a second. I wanted to do something now that I have this scene going. On the spotlight in the attribute editor. Hold on here. If I come in here and switch this to quadratic, that will make it behave more like the fall off will be more like a real light. But now I have to come in and really crank this up. Is that even? It's not even touching it. Yeah. I don't want it to be like that. Let's say linear and do 20. And we'll pull that out like that. And we'll do something like that. Maybe like that. Let's see what that looks like. render settings, make sure that you have under the common tab, render options, make sure you turn off enable default light. That's another thing I forget to do. And I'm going to reduce the light, this directional light, which is kind of our moon, to 0.2. See what that does for us. So this is far from finished, perfect, close to being done. All of that. So this is nowhere near being done. But, you know, I think it's safe to point out that a lot of this is your background. Having that black background doesn't help separate your vehicle from it, since your vehicle is black. Remember, there are no special textures on this. These are all fongs or blends with transparency and color and reflectivity. I'm using that image-based lighting inside of our render settings, which is right here. I'm using global illumination and final gathering, which are not required. This is one way to do it. This is a way I would say produces good still images. Rendering with these settings, you know, an animation with this setup is another challenge. But this is one way. It's a quick way. You can add more lights to this if you want. You can, you know, do whatever you want with colors. You know, I could throw a blue rim light up here that'll, you know, cast a little highlight on the top and possibly down the side of the hood. You know, and with render or viewport 2.0, it's pretty quick to see those changes. Nope, not a point light. Sorry. I'm going to add a spotlight. And we'll see. So it's pointing that way. We'll have it point this way and down. Then we'll move it up. And this way. Up and back. And maybe look through selected. How about that? So I might do something like that with a really low setting. Maybe even like this. I won't have it cast any shadows. I'm going to not make it white. I'm going to make it a bluish color. And you can kind of see what's happening in that viewport. Maybe just play with this till I'm happy. Move it back again because it's got to be strong enough to fill the whole scene. But you can kind of see what it's doing. What I'm trying to do is art direct it a little bit and get that edge. See, I don't want to go that way. You know, maybe something like that. Okay. And that, you know, just fiddling until you're happy with how it looks. Alright, so there's a lot I would do to this scene. Like, I would exclude this object from this this new light that I created to add this little rim light here. You can do that inside of the, it's in the rendering menu. Under lighting and shading, you can do light linking, which is right here. So if I said that new spotlight, which is spotlight 2, I don't want it to affect, what is this? What are you? That is cube 1. I don't want it to affect that, right? I can try to render it again. So you can see now that light is not affecting the light pole here. Again, this is not done. It's just a starting point. I could go in and add specific lights for the tires, the rims, if this is a still image, okay? For animation, I might treat things a little bit different, but I could still have specific lights for things like wheels, or, you know, lights inside of the light housings here. Light inside of the cabin, or the cab, or the, you know. There's a ton of different things that you can do, but that is a good starting point. And then you wanted to know about how to do something to show your model that is better than just a 360 turnaround. Well, you know, you have to know what you want. What you might do is, if once you get your model going, you could do close-ups, you know, and the camera could be like moving slowly like this, and then you could cut and go to a back shot or something, you know, or a top down type of thing. You can do whatever you want, you know. You can start in close, moving slow, you know, through the scene, cut to another close-up, you know, and then cut to a, you know, wide, and you could rotate, you know, like that. There's so many different things. That's just a creative choice that you have to make. If you go on Vimeo and you type in 3D modeling demo reel, you will see tons of videos that all show their models in a different way. And there is no right and wrong. There is just well done. You know, if you do a camera move and it's in it, you know, it's just choppy, you know, just wink, unless there's a reason for that, you know, then it won't look right. So, you know, you could start on something like this, but your move's gonna have to be real smooth, real polished, and, you know, you could do something like that. So here, let's just do that. I'm gonna set a keyframe there, and I want it to be 3 seconds long, and that is, say we want to move it to there. I'm going to open up my graph editor here. I hit spline, and if I let it play through, you know, but I would end. So maybe I want it to, you know, stop. I want this whole shot to be 3 seconds long. I'm not going to have the camera move stop at frame 72. Okay. What I'm going to do is extend that keyframe out a little bit. Perhaps I'll have to come in here and adjust some things so I get it where I want it to be on that frame 72. You know? Now if I come in here and I hit play, but you can see the camera doesn't feel like it's ever stopping. It's feeling like it's going through a motion, you know. And the editor chose this cut, but it was not the entirety of that cut. The editor has made a cut. That we're being an editor at the same time as animating here. And you have to think like that. Cameras sometimes come to a stop. In B-roll, general B-roll shots like this of vehicles, typically you're working with like Ronin shots or jib shots, and they're real long, steady moving shots. And that's what I would call B-roll. But I could have a shot like that, you know, as long as it's done well. It's an aesthetic thing, and you'll have to build that up. Try something. If you don't like it, analyze why you don't like it. If you see something online you like, analyze why you like it. Ask yourself, why do I like this? Is it I just generally like it, or I like it because, wow, the lighting or the subject matter, the style. There's so many endless things that you can like about something. You just have to analyze it, learn why you like something, and start to apply it to your own work. It's a lengthy process. It does not happen overnight. Be patient, work through the frustration, enjoy the frustration. You're ultimately you're just creating art, fancy pictures. So enjoy it. If you don't, this will become very difficult for you. It would become like any other job where you just dread going to it. I do not dread going to my job. I look forward going to my job. Sure, I have bad days, but they don't. I have way more good days. And that's a state of mind. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy even this. It's not character animation, my favorite thing, but just doing this, I could do this all day. Sit here and tinker around. And this isn't even my truck, but it's fun. Like, I just made a quick shot. Boom. There's a shot. Fun. I could make another one and then edit them together in After Effects or Premiere. Color grade them in there if you want. You can do anything you want. There are no rules to that. As long as the end product is good. That's really all that matters. Alright, well, I hope this helped you, Tanner. Feel free to email me with any questions you may have. And good luck.